is up, y'all? Snipes-n-Snarfblatts, your unauthorized place for Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilms, and sometimes even Fox. And it's been a while. But we're back for Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Definitely don't let that name deceive you. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But I'm going to talk about, obviously, usually I come to y'all and I'm all like dressed for it, you know what I'm saying? I've got the shirt, the hat, the something. But I do not own anything Maleficent gear because of the bad taste the original Maleficent left in my mouth. I've kept it no secret that I was not a fan of that movie. And I now know it was mainly and totally because of the direction they took it and what they've done to the character. I feel like in a world with no villainry at all, hardly, when it comes to depictions in theater, we've always got some reason. You have one of the greatest villains of all time, and you decided to just take that and turn it into... She's now this anti-hero who basically the story you know is not the real story. The story you know was a telling from someone who just saw it from a point of view because she actually secretly took care of Aurora. And you know how it went. Y'all saw Maleficent. Anyway, I did not care for it all. Now, I have revisited that about a week before this one because I wanted to have it fresh in my head. And I will say this. Going into it knowing what it was already, I did like it more, but I'm just disappointed in what it could have been because I really wanted to see this villain study. And now, that said, me not liking that one at all, revisiting it and being okay now that I know this is going to happen, you get into this new one and... well, wow, I was impressed. Like, it's not great by no means, but it's really good. It is good to the point where if you liked Maleficent, I feel like this movie makes Maleficent and its choices that it made better. This sequel actually elevates the original one, and that's a bold thing to do in itself. So, I mean, like I said, I didn't love this, but I came out of it liking it a whole lot more than I thought I was going to like it. So, in the first, like, 2 or 3 sentences, they basically tell you that the story you know as Sleeping Beauty, the Walt Disney classic, you know what I'm saying, that's basically just anti-Maleficent propaganda, but Maleficent doesn't care. She's going to do her seclusion thing anyway, so it doesn't matter to her. However, everything you know as Sleeping Beauty, it's a story that has been told, but it's basically been told in the form of anti-Maleficent propaganda. So do keep that in your mind when you go see this, because I will tell you this: if you did not like the anti-hero version of Maleficent, you're definitely going to not like this turn to basic. I'm going to just, don't let the name deceive you. She is the hero of this movie. But it's cool. Like, it's really good. Like I said, if you take Maleficent at what it is, instead of what you wanted it to be, and you let this be the progression of where you go, this was a really good movie. Because, I mean, you've got Princess Aurora as she rules the Moors, the fairyland, if you will. And then there's another kingdom. I feel like this thing's just surrounded by other kingdoms. There's another kingdom right next door, and that's where the prince came from, and now he wants to get married, so that's going to take her into this new family, and that family consists of the prince's dad, who wants to unite the realms, and then Michelle Pfeiffer, who, if you couldn't tell from the previews, is going to be the antagonist of the film. You did not see the previews, but she's great. The back and forth between her and Angelina Jolie is great. And, I mean, even in the first one, I thought Angelina Jolie is the perfect and only casting you could do for Maleficent. I just wanted to see her a little more evil. And even in this, the parts where she's evil, it's so great. The parts where she just really comes out the booth, it's amazing. But it's amazing, and for me it's disheartening at the same time, because for me it shows you how far this could go, you know what I'm saying? So obviously the wedding, she's against that for one reason or another. I'm not going to get any spoilers, and that's what leads into the story we lead into. If you've seen the previews, you do know there are more fairy folk that wind up finding her. For me, that's where it got a little weird, because they give this explanation of the fairy people and how Maleficent, out of all of them, has all these really cool powers that you've seen her with. That was underwhelming. There's a plot involving her wand that seemed to just be her scepter that just seemed to be thrown away at the last minute. That was underwhelming, because I feel like those could have been really cool plot points. But all of that does set up this just giant finale that I've got to say was amazing. And this movie just squeezes the border so close of what you could do in a family film, because I mean, there were parts that were just ruthless where I was like, whoa, because I mean, it was so intense. You feel like you saw the end result, and then you realize you didn't, and you were like, wow, that was brutal. But there was a lot of that, and like I said, this really does, it elevated the first one for me to the point where I can now say I like this as a series, with a big asterisk of, I'm still pissed off at what this could have been if you have done it right. You know what I'm saying? So that asterisk's still there, because I still would have loved to see Maleficent in her Maleficentness, because I've said it before and I've said it again. Watch Sleeping Beauty. This woman wasn't invited to a party, so her go-to reaction was, fine, I'm going to kill your baby. Whoa! That's like sinister on a whole nother level. And even when I was rewatching the first one, I was like, wow, when we got through the first part, and I was like, damn, she just like killed, like, she's going to kill the baby, and we're going to turn that? And she's like, oh, I love the little beastie, blah, blah, blah. I mean, like I said, you know how that first one went, but y'all are reaching. But this one, the reaching is all out the way, so you get a more natural story. And like I said, everyone in it just shines. Aurora plays her part great, but I mean, the real everything goes to Michelle Pfeiffer and Angelina Jolie as the Queen and Maleficent, because just seeing these two bounce off of each other, I want to see these two in something else. The back and forth between them is just so good. But like I said, this is a really good story, and if you liked that first Maleficent, you're gonna love this second Maleficent. If you loved this first Maleficent, you're gonna love, be ecstatic about this second Maleficent. And for me, look, I didn't really like the first Maleficent, and it's made it better for me. And now, as a whole, I'll watch these, and I kind of get a lot of joy out of these movies. There's some really great scenes in this movie. I swear, I would love for someone, and I know you're out there, if someone sees this and knows somebody, get it in their hands, because you could take Maleficent and Maleficent 2, you could re-edit them, and I guarantee you could make an awesome, real Maleficent Sleeping Beauty movie with Maleficent as the bad guy, just based on what they've already shot, because there are some amazing scenes you could edit in different ways. So somebody get on that if you're watching that, because I'd love to see that on top of this. But you will not be disappointed if you liked the first movie. Go see this movie in a theater. I think I really enjoyed it more because it was in a theater. I saw it at the Dolby, so everything was moving, everything was cool. But like I said, I'm probably not going to do a written review for this one. Who knows? It might pop up, but I feel like based on what it was and my true feelings on kind of like how, I liked it, I didn't love it, I'll watch it many times probably with my family, and I liked it way more than the first one. So, I mean, you might as well say I loved it, because I went into it already thinking I was going to completely hate it, because I hated where it was starting from. But even though I hated where it was starting from, it got from there to a really enjoyable place. And plot holes aside, I would definitely recommend this movie to people who just want to see just a family action movie, fantasy action movie. Just check your brain at the door, because like I said, there are some loose plot holes, and there's an explanation that I was just like, whoa, y'all reached for that one. But it does bleed itself into the finale, which I honestly think they could have switched that up and just went with how they went with the first time. I wasn't really. There's a big transformation scene because you know it's Maleficent. You got to have a transformation scene, and I don't know if I was really digging it this time. Like there was a couple of them. One I really loved. Like a couple of the transformations were great because I mean you know she does the like transmify thing. But yeah, some of those were cool. But there was one big one that I just really wasn't. I feel like it could have been done better, but I get why they did it is because they used the explanation of the fairy folk that they do, and all the other performances they held up well. Some of the fairy folk were a little all over the place. You couldn't tell if they were like some animalistic beasts or if they were actually like a proper civilization of people. Like, and you couldn't get a clear tone because it was literally all over the place. But they said they're from all over, so they wanted to give you that feel, and they really did because some of them were just like primeval as hell. But so, I mean, like I said, it wasn't perfect by no means, and I couldn't even say it was great by no means, but it really does stir some emotions in you. It is still a really good movie, and like I said, I think we still have room for those. I'm tired of it has to be great or it has to be terrible. There can be an in-between, and this definitely lies in that in-between. Whereas, like I said, Maleficent for me was almost in the terrible realm, so I mean, this being in the in-between shows you how far the progression for me seeing them is. So definitely go see this. Like I said, I wouldn't, especially if you liked the originals, you'll love this. If you got kids and stuff, they'll think this is really cool, so go and check it out. You'll have a lot of fun with it. We have got a lot more to come, by the way. There's more movies in the future. I think Frozen 2 is actually what is next, unless I choose to do that Fox thing and go with some Ford versus Ferrari. I've got some big ideas for the show coming up. Even bigger ideas because I tried to do some things recently and realized that I don't have enough subscribers to go live. So that's a mission for all of y'all that watch this. I want y'all to watch this, subscribe to me, check out some more movie reviews I'm going to be doing throughout the year. The show might come back with some, like I said, some really big ideas, but I would love to also be able to factor in some live stuff. So, I've got a little bit of time, and that little bit of time, it's easier to go live than it is to tape this and edit it down and break it down. So, share this. Get me some subscribers, subscribe, show your friends, and we can talk about Disney movies. We can talk about Pixar movies, Star Wars movies. We can just talk about other movies if you want to compare them to those movies. Talk about Fox, anything, but like I said, love this movie. I loved it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Subscribe, hit the bell, tell your friends, like this video, get us out there so we can start the show back up the way I want to start it up, and we can get to y'all some live stuff because there's some really cool events that happen out here that I would love to go live on YouTube because everyone else likes to edit out my music because it's not mine, and I don't think YouTube will do that as much to me live as they do because I get no money for this. I just want to bring y'all some cool entertainment. So, till then, I didn't bring clothes, but I'm still going to sign off with something because I always got to sign off with a movie quote from the movie, so bye-bye, Beastie.